Hello, welcome to this video. This is the second video on sword, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the basic sword. What is a basic sword? The basic sword is the simpler or the simplest form of sword. A sword can be reduced to a basic form if the irrational number under the square root sign contain a factor which is a square of a number, that is a perfect square. So this basically deal with simplifying a complex sword into a simpler sword. I'm going to do that in the following example. And this kind of simplification is possible if the number under the square root, like here now we have 54. If this number, we can only simplify a sword if the number in the square root has a factor that is a perfect square. For example, now we have, what are the factors of 54? We have 1 times 54. We have other number 9. But which, so we are going to find the product of 54, and in that product, one of the factor in the product must be a perfect square. That is the condition that can make us to simplify or write sword in a basic form. So in this case now we are going to have uh, 54 is the same as 9 times 6. We have to use it. There are other products that can give you 54, but this is the one we can use because in this product now, 9 that you see here is a perfect square. That means 9 can be simplified when it has a root. So, but when you use other numbers, you may not arrive at this. So you should know that the number you are going to use must be a number that has a perfect square. So we can equally now separate this sword now. This is going to give us sword 9 times sword 6. Now 9 is it's a perfect square. That means the square root of 9 is 3. Then multiply it by sword 6. That is going to give us 3 sword 6. This is the simpler form, or this is the basic form of this sword. This 3 sword 6 is the basic form of sword 54. Now we have another example here, which is number 2. This one talk about the sword of 72. How do we simplify this? We are going to look at going to find the product of numbers that is going to give us 72, and one of those numbers must be a perfect square. So which number is that? We can look for 36 times 2. If you multiply these two numbers, is going to give us 72. And why are we using this number? Because this 36 here is a perfect square. That means that 36 has a square root. So now we are going to separate this into a simpler sword. That's going to give us sword 36 times sword 2. Now 36 sword is what? 36 square root is 6 times the sword of 2. Now this, you add this, if you combine this together to give us 6 sword 2. This is the basic form of this sword. 6 sword 2 is the basic form of sword 72. Now we are going to proceed to the third example, which is the sword of 300. Now, like we have done in these other examples, we are going to look for two numbers that are whose product result to 300, and then one of those products must be a perfect square. And the number that we can do in this case is 100 times 3. 100 times 3 result to 300. And then why are we using it? Because 100 is a perfect square. So that means we are going to have sword 100 times sword 3. Then 100 is a perfect square, and then the square root of 100 is 10. Then multiply it by the sword of 3. This is cannot be simplified further. So we are going to have 10 sword 3. So this is the 10 sword 3 is the basic form of sword 300. And then finally we have another example here, which is the sword of 240. We're going to find 240 sword. The basic form of this sword. We are going to look for two numbers whose product is 240 and whose one of the product is a perfect square. Of course, we may not have the number directly, but here now we can see that this can give us 4 times 60. Actually, in this place now, uh these numbers, 4 is a perfect square, but there's another perfect square that we can also find in 60. So we are going to simplify 60 also. That is 4 times 60 is going to give us 4 times 15. So you can see now that we are having a two number in this in this sword that are perfect square. So we are going to multiply this together. That is 4 times 4 is going to give us 16 times 15. So now we are going to separate them. This is going to give us 16 square root multiplied by 15 square root. This will give us 16 square root is 4. Multiply it by the sword of 15. This will give us 4 sword 15 actually. So this is how to find or to express a complex sword as in a basic sword. Thanks for watching this video. Further videos on sword are also available. Check the description of this video and please subscribe to our channel for further videos.